Hello everyone, welcome to the Arthur Conan Doyle Center YouTube channel. My name is Kat and today I will do a pick a card reading for you. Today's topic will be the next step in your spiritual development. I think it's quite an interesting topic, especially if you are on a spiritual journey and if you are looking for an advice on what the next step is, or if just any sort of guidance that you can get. Because sometimes I feel like if the time is right, then you encounter certain signs or certain messages, and then that puts you on the path that you're meant to be following. And sometimes it can be something very small, something that at the time of when it's happening, it doesn't seem like anything important, but then it has quite important significance. So yes, maybe you will receive such messages in this reading, and I hope to provide some guidance for you today. So, as usual, we have 4 groups. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and just a little bit about each object, so you can have some time to think about it. If you need to pause, feel free to pause the video just to pick your group. But picking your group, I feel like it should be something very spontaneous, just the first object that your eye lands on. So it's not about thinking too much, it's more about feeling the right option. So for group 1, okay, maybe this should have been group 2, I just realized. So for group 1, we have $2, so these are from Hong Kong, and I quite like the shape. I got it from my friend, and I thought it would be nice, you know, when you have to make a decision, then you flip a coin, and yes, you can make a decision, but it's $2. I should have made it group number 2, but okay, now I've just realized that. So this is group 1. So group 1, 2 Hong Kong dollars. Group number 2, well, this object has been in my wallet for the past, gosh, how many years? 7 years? I think, oh gosh, it's been 7 years already. So it's a tiny maneki neko, so it's one of those good fortune or good luck cats. So I bought this one when I arrived to Tokyo, and there's a whole shrine dedicated to maneki neko, and yes, it's about good fortune, but I've had it in my wallet trying to attract good fortune for so long that it already lost its face. So this is group number 2. It's the maneki neko, good luck cat, straight from Tokyo. Then group number 3, there is a very special ring, so I don't know if you can see it properly. So it's St. Catherine's ring. So if you like that, this is group 3. And then group 4, there's another ring. So this one, it's a silver ring with amber and pearl. And I think I bought it, when did I buy it? Maybe last year or 2 years ago. And I just really liked how this sort of area here, it looks like the symbol for Pluto, you know, for the planet. When you do astrology, then you would have the circle and then the cross here. So I don't know, makes me think of Pluto as an astrologer, but it's a nice ring. So yes, pick your group. So we have 1, 2, 3, or 4. If you need to pause the video, feel free to do it now, and we will look at what is the next step in your spiritual development. Okay, so, well, as usual, I will start with group 1. I will put all the other objects up here. So, group 1. Because I keep saying the 2 on the coin, I'm like, group 2. No, this is group 1. So for this reading, I want to use the, what's the name of this tarot? It's called, second, because I don't have the box with me. The Mystical Dream Tarot. So I don't have the box with me because it's pretty big, but it's a really nice tarot deck. Here we go. And I will grab one card and then I'll take it from there. I will see whatever resonates. So for group 1, let's see, what is the next step in your spiritual development for group 1? Okay, just one card. What is the next step in your spiritual development? And I've shuffled the deck before, but I feel like just to get some fresh energy for you. Okay, let's take this card. Okay, so card for you. It's the Serpentia Soul. So in the traditional tarot deck, this would be the World card. So the first thing that I see here is that you have already achieved a lot in your spiritual journey. There's already a feeling of completing a very big cycle, because the World, it is the last card in the major arcana, so it's as if we have gone through all of the lessons and we are ready to wrap everything up and in a way graduate or go beyond what we have already learned and get to a new level. So what I really like about this card in particular in this deck is that with all the animals and all of these elements here, it talks about having all of the skills here. So we have a human being, but there is a wing. So it's about flying, having the freedom, being able to move beyond the, well, I don't want to say the physical world, but all of these earthly matters, so we can rise above it. Then with the snake makes me think of wisdom. It makes me think of being reborn. It makes me think of the alchemical symbol for I think it's called Ouroboros, so the snake that eats its own tail. And then we also have 1 foot on the land and 1 foot in the water. So there is that understanding of how the world works, understanding all of these natural cycles and understanding how we are, what is our place in all of this. And even just looking here at the light behind the person's head, it's some sort of enlightenment has been reached already. So I feel like you have been working on yourself spiritually for quite a while, or if it's not a long time, then you have managed to really connect to the universe and connect to all of these energies and decipher some of them. That's the word that came to me, to decipher things. Another thing I get with this card is that I don't know if you've been through some sort of test recently, if it was some sort of dark night of the soul, perhaps, where you have been going through difficult things, where you had to really trust the universe, even if all of the situations around you, even if all of the events, it felt like, oh, maybe there is no hope. Maybe it's so difficult to just go through life, and it's so difficult to somehow keep going, but you didn't give up. You really managed to trust the universe that if it's meant to be this way, then, well, eventually it will pass. So now you have reached this level in your spiritual development where you're closing off one cycle and you will be beginning another cycle. Perhaps you have finished one cycle of development as a student, and now it's as if you're graduating, and then you will be able to help other people, to guide them along their way, because you've already been through all of these different things. So it's as if tying up all of the loose ends, and the universe is rewarding you for what you've been through. The universe is saying, look, you've swam through this lake or whatever it is, and you were flying through the skies, and then, now you're on the ground. You know what you're doing, and you are ready to move beyond whatever has been going on for now. Let's get one more card from this deck, because I feel like I want to know what's beyond this, because this is the last card in the deck. And now what I'm getting, perhaps you have been able to, I'm hearing the word untangle some sort of karmic contact or karmic, what's the word? Some sort of connections with people that karmically you were tied, and it was about going round and round in circles, every incarnation. It's as if falling back in the same pattern. But with this card, I feel like, okay, you've managed to overcome this repeating pattern and get out of it and free yourself from it. Let's get to see what's the next card here. Because I feel like at this point in time, if you've been through all these things, it's as if, okay, what's next? I've been through all of these levels of development and I want more. I want to go to the higher level of wisdom, higher level of commitment perhaps on your spiritual journey. But honestly, this is such a great card to get. It shows me that you've been working really hard. Okay, let's get one more card. So what is next? So once you close off the cycle, once you kind of graduate, let's see. Okay, something fell out. Let me grab that card. Okay, this is a great card to get. So the card that fell out was the Nine of Pentacles. And traditionally, Nine of Pentacles, it's all about the feelings of abundance. It's about feeling of I have everything I need and I can be independent. But in this particular deck, it looks like a torch, or rather a few torches, 3 torches, and then all of these 9 lights. So I definitely see it as carrying the torch and really lighting up the way for yourself and for other people. And because there are 3, well, whatever these are, torches or I don't even know. you can decide yourself what these are. But it's as if there's one for you and you still have 2 left. So it's as if you can give them to somebody else. You can pass on your light. And then these people will pass on this light to other people. And in that process, from 1, you will have 3, and from 3 you will have 9, and so on and so forth. And to me, that is such an inspiring energy. It reminds me of this, well, vision that I had one time, how it's all about sharing the light and being light. And as long as you share it with at least one person, then that person can share it with another person, and then the other person can share it with another person, and then from one thing, it just keeps growing and growing and growing, and there's more and more light. So this is such a beautiful message here, that because you have reached a certain stage in your development, now the only way to go forward is to share it with other people and to share all of that abundance that you have. So if you do have a surplus, then you can pass it on to others, and then other people can pass it on. So I feel like that's quite a straightforward message. Anything else here? Because it's Pentacles, it's a very practical energy. It's all about the material world. So it's not about having some, I don't know, big vision that you need to use fancy words and you have to use specific terms, and then only a small amount of people knows what's going on. No, to me it's much more practical, inspiring people in a practical way on a material level, even just saying a sentence to somebody or guiding them in the right direction. I feel like this is what is happening next for you. It's that stepping up. And it's interesting because this is the last card in the Major Arcana, 21. And then the 9. I know there's 10 of Pentacles, but if we look at numerology and single digits, the 9 would be the end of a cycle as well. So here there is this energy of coming to some sort of threshold, some sort of limit. Because you've already reached as much as you could by yourself. And then next, it's about reaching out to people, helping other people, sharing the journey with them. Being a guide, that's how I feel. Let's see, anything else I want? Any other deck? Okay, I'm gonna use the same deck because I feel like this deck has such rich imagery. It is so spiritual as well. So let's see, any sort of advice that I can give you on this journey. Anything that I know, perhaps there's any obstacle, if there's any sort of difficulty, what can I pass on to you? So any sort of advice I can give you on your journey. But so far I feel like you've already achieved so much and you already have so much wisdom that you will know how to deal with it. So let's see, the next card. Any advice I can give you. So group 1, spiritual development, any advice I can give you on your path. Okay. And this is number 15. So in the traditional tarot deck, this would be the devil. and I can see how this is coming together. So I'll show you up close. So to me, this card talks about temptation. So you have reached the top of a mountain and you've been climbing the mountain, and it's been such a difficult journey, and maybe you're exhausted and you're thirsty, you want to drink something, and you look, there's a cup there, and you think, oh wow, that's so amazing. There's a cup, I can just drink from it. But what we don't see, maybe we see it, maybe we don't want to see it, there is a snake, and the cup is poisoned. So here to me it's all about temptation. Are you able to follow your values? Are you able to really stick to that inner structure that you have built throughout this journey? Or will you give in to the temptation? And here temptation could be anything. To me, it could be being seen as somebody who just knows so well, so other people look up to you. And sometimes it can be tempting to just be like, well, I know the best. I've already achieved so much, so whatever I say to people, it means I am right and they have to listen to me. So what's coming up to me is that energy of ego. Perhaps thinking, I've already achieved so much, so now I have the right to tell other people what to do. And sometimes we can fall into that trap and believe that we have the answers and nobody else has them, so we are special in some way, we are the chosen ones, and people just have to listen to what we have to say. But with the devil, or in this deck it's the sorcerer, it's important not to give in to this temptation. I think there is a need to say, look, I'm still searching myself, and I can give you advice, I can tell you my point of view, and I can tell you what I would do, but I'm not you. I don't know your life, I don't know your circumstances, and at the end of the day it is your decision if somebody is asking you for help, or if somebody else is if you cross paths with another person, because it's so easy to just give away your power and to just surrender and give your power to another person, so then you don't have to decide. And it's tempting sometimes to do that, because you kind of get rid of any responsibility and any commitment, because, oh yeah, that person knows best and I will just do what they tell me. So here it's important not to fall into that temptation. Perhaps it's something that has to do with fear, because the devil can also talk about our fears. And here it's as if maybe when we were on our path, we had nobody to guide us along. So now we fall into a trap of, well, that means everyone is like that, and I just have to keep telling people what to do. I have to keep telling people how I see all these things. But it's as if let other people walk their own path, and if they want help, if they really need it, they will come to you and they will ask for it. But I'm getting energy of, because of the cross, it makes me think of, well, Jesus, and feeling like, oh, I'm the savior, or I'm some sort of martyr, and I have to suffer for all of the sins of humanity and things like that. So be careful that you don't crucify yourself. Oh gosh, that's such a specific message. But in a spiritual sense, I feel that sometimes we just have to detach from all the suffering, because as a one person, well, you can help 24/7, but still there will be so many problems in the world. There will be still people who need help, people who are miserable, people who have lost everything, and that's not the way forward. First of all, it's about keeping your energy and keeping your light, and then helping others. So do not be swept away by the feeling of being some sort of savior, especially if you have Pisces in your chart. Pisces can be can do quite a lot of self-sacrifice. So make sure you don't self-sacrifice too much, because if that self-sacrifice comes from a place of ego, that, oh, I'm better than other people, so I have to self-sacrifice for them, because then I feel like I'm some sort of savior, then it's not authentic. It's coming from the devil energy. So be careful about that, because that's what's coming up in advice. Don't feel like you have all the answers and you have to suffer for everyone and you have to take on so many burdens because you're the only one capable to carry them. That's not the case. Anything else I can tell you? I feel like that's a pretty clear message, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. Let's see, anything else? I don't know, I'm so drawn to this book of trees. It's called The Observer's Book of Trees. So this wasn't really in the plan, but I'll just, I don't know, open a random page and see what happens. So I'll just turn it around a few times, so I don't know what's going on there. And let's see, I'm feeling something here. I don't know, maybe it's, yeah, like I have my eyes closed. I have no idea, maybe I will point to some illustration, but I feel something here. Okay, well, it's upside down. It's the oak. Maybe the oak is something of a symbol for you. Oak as in something long-lasting, something very durable. But the first sentence here that I pointed to, it says, the oak is most abundant on clay soils, but is at its best when growing in deep sandy loam when there's also plenty of humus. Its roots in such soil strike down to a depth of about 5 feet. Well, that's more about nature, it's more technical. But if I would see it as spirituality, it's about having the right environment. So in some environments, the oak can grow, but in some of them, it's much better. So make sure you are in the right environment, that you have the right soil for you, and then your roots can really go deep, and that's where you can get the most nutrients. Yes, anything else I can see here? Well, to me, well, trees in general, it takes time. It takes time for a tree to grow, so it's not something like overnight. Things will just happen. Things will just become this 100-year-old oak. You know, it took 100 years, obviously. But that's the message here, having patience as well, and having roots, being connected to your roots, and just seeing how things go. I feel like that's the message here. Anything else I want for you, group 1? No, I think I'll leave it at that, because once I keep pulling more cards, this will last forever. But for now, I think it was a great reading. Well done on your spiritual development. Now, next step, sharing all of your abundance with other people, but be careful not to fall into some sort of trap. Be careful not to give in to some sort of temptation. But you're honestly on a great path, and I really wish you all the best. So yes, I think this was the reading for you. If you liked it, please feel free to check our other videos. We upload the tarot reading every Sunday. Feel free to subscribe. Check our website for any events if you're interested in spiritual development. And yes, I really hope you will have a lovely day. And I'll see you next time. Bye! Hello group 2, if you chose this faceless cat, this is your reading. So we are looking at the next step in your spiritual development. Whether you have been on the spiritual path for a long time, or if you're just starting, we'll see what's happening. So I will be using the Mystical Dream Tarot. This is the deck. I don't have the box because it's really heavy and big, so and yeah, I usually don't carry it with me. But what we will do, I will start with one card and then I'll just take it from there. So let's see, group 2, what is the next step on your spiritual journey? Okay, and now that I'm shuffling, I'm getting an image of, it's almost like a cross, like 2 lines just crossing each other. So I know, maybe you're at a crossroads or something like that. Let's see, group 2, sorry. Group 2, 1 card. Okay. Okay, oh, that's a nice card. That's a very nice card to get. So it's, in this deck, it's called Sophia. And it is the wisdom, well, not wisdom, strength. Well, Sophia means wisdom, but it's the strength card in traditional tarot. And in this deck is number 11, and Rider-Waite, I think it's number 8, but usually strength and justice in some decks are swapped around. So this is number 11, Sophia, strength. So how do I see this card? So, in terms of your spiritual development, I do see it as perhaps recently you had to face your fears, or rather, if this is strength, then facing your weaknesses and realizing that in order to move forward on your spiritual journey, you have to patch up any holes. Or it made me think of when you have to go to a dentist, when you have a hole in your tooth, and you have to fill up all these holes in order to have healthy teeth. So maybe you had something done with your teeth recently, or you were just looking at any areas of your life where there's still something hurting, and you can pretend it's not there, and you can just cover it up with something, you can ignore it, but at the end of the day, it's still there. So with this card, I feel like there is an element of maturity, realizing that if I don't sort it out now, it will expand, and it will at some point become overwhelming to somehow solve all of these areas of me that have been tangled up. Any sort of wounds, anything that we feel we are missing in ourselves. I feel like you've been looking at that, or perhaps the next step in your spiritual journey is to look at them, and look at them in a very honest way. And what made me, now I just realized that the woman, she's naked. Let's hope YouTube will not pick that up. So it's this naked truth, really being honest with yourself and whatever you have been covering up. It's as if, no, I have to really look at myself. And even if it's not nice to look at it, maybe it hurts, but I cannot move any further if I don't address all of these things within me. So with this particular deck, so we have Sophia. Well, at least she has a snake wrapping up around her, so so that's good. She's not totally naked. But to me, the snake, it's a symbol of, on one hand side, temptation, but on the other hand side, it is a symbol of wisdom. And the way it's wrapping itself around the woman, you can either freak out and be like, oh my god, there's a snake, and I will just be suffocated by it and it will eat me alive. But rather than that, it's about becoming friendly with it and being like, oh, hello, how can I help you? What sort of message do you have for me? So connecting with that side of you, and it makes me think of our shadow self, that it's kind of scary and we don't want to look at it. But what I think in terms of spiritual development is that the more light there is, so if you think about midday, for example, because the sun would be the highest, it would be the strongest, the shadows are also pretty dark, because the darker the light, the darker the shadow. So being able to deal with that, being able to realize that it's not only about light, it's not only about embracing all of these parts of yourself, and it's not only about empathy and being kind and staying positive, it's about balancing it with the shadow side as well. Anything else I'm getting in this card? Because I'm really curious, what are the areas to perhaps become friendly with, but we can check that in a second. And I feel like in this process you are being guided, and there is something beyond you, whether it's spirit guides, the universe, whatever you wish to believe in. But it just makes me think of that fish jumping up, the goldfish, showing that there is fortune out there, there's good luck, there's something to guide you. And it's as if wherever you choose to go, whether it's the water, the land, or the air, there is some sort of animal guide to help you. So in the water you would have the fish, on the land you would have the snake, in the air you would have, I don't know what it is, if it's a bird or if it's something else, but there's always guidance available to you. So don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to look out for some sort of companion on your journey. So let's see what sort of weaknesses and fears to focus on. Because I feel like that is the next step here, having an honest look at these things. So group 2. What is it to look at and perhaps heal, domesticate, and the wild parts of you? I mean, not completely domesticate, but just so it's not as wild and not as dangerous. Group 2. Now I'm seeing this very, very, maybe not fluorescent yellow, but a yellow that's kind of green, and it seems so, so sharp. It's something like, it makes me think of the snake and the venom. That's how it feels to me. So, because now that I think about it, snake's venom, I mean, it is quite, well, dangerous. But it makes me think of Paracelsus, who said that everything that can be toxic to you, it can also heal you. It's about the right proportions. So maybe there's some message here. Okay, group 2. What is the fear? What is it to patch up? 6 of Cups. See what they say, taking an honest look at yourself. So it's a clear message. You have to look at yourself. Well, you don't have to go to a forest, but take a look at yourself and be very clear about what you see. And if there are any parts of you that you don't like, that you feel that they are not as nice or not as pretty as they should be, this card is saying, no, you have to really see yourself as you are. Because if you do have some sort of illusion, some sort of image of you that's not even corresponding to reality, then you will not be able to move forward on your journey. You really have to stand in front of yourself and kind of scan yourself from the head to the toe and see what parts of me are still hurting and why have I been ignoring them? Because maybe now is the time. Now you're ready to really heal them. So yeah, 6 of Cups can also talk about our childhood, memories from the past. So maybe something that happened in childhood, maybe there's something with your inner child that is hurting. So I feel like this is the next step. This is the next step to move forward. And 6 of Cups, it makes me think of very innocent energy, maybe reconnecting to it. Maybe you felt that there's so much darkness in the world, so many horrible things happening, that you have no hope, you have lost all the innocence, you think that there's nothing good happening, that everyone has some sort of agenda behind their choices, and there's always something hidden. So here it's reconnecting with this feeling of innocence, clarity, this childhood joy, that if somebody says something to you, you trust them. So in a way also regaining trust in the universe. Because if you don't trust other people, how can you trust yourself and how can you trust the universe? So that's the message here. Let's see, how can you heal it? And a practical advice, or spiritually practical advice. But I feel like in this process you will be able to really become stronger and much wiser. Let's see. Group 2, how to heal it, and advice here. I've just heard reclaiming the parts of yourself that you have pushed aside. Okay, so we have the Hermit. How to heal it. Spend time with yourself. See, connect to your inner child. And look back at things. I feel like even on a practical level, just draw some sort of timeline and try to make sense of what happened when and how it affected you. because there's a lot of wisdom there. It's reconnecting to that inner child and maybe for a while putting on this dark cloak that nobody will see you, nobody will recognize you, doing it in your own time. And then you will be able to really reconnect everything and connect all the dots. And if you have banished parts of you, then reclaim them, because that's still you. Even if you feel something is evil or dark or bad, it's still a part of you. So it's about how do you deal with it here with that strength card. What I've done with the previous group, I've looked at this book, the Observer's Book of Trees. So let's see, I'll pick a random page and I will read a random sentence and perhaps it will resonate with you. So I'm just gonna turn it around and I have my eyes closed and pick a random page. Okay, I'm feeling something here. If it is the same page, I'm gonna laugh. Here, okay, I'm feeling something here. The U, I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. It's Y-E-W. So, I don't even know what type of tree it is, at least not in English. But okay, I will read the sentence from the previous page. Oh gosh, it's such a long sentence. Okay, I'll read from here. Although the yew is a large tree, it is by no means a tall tree. The height of full-grown yews in this country ranging between 15 and 50 feet, though they are said to attain a greater length in India. So, I don't know, maybe the yew is significant to you. I'm not going to keep reading because I feel like it's very technical. But maybe it's what really jumped out to me was that it's a large tree, but it's not a tall tree. So sometimes when we are developing, it's not about how far can you go, but how much more can you discover in the place where you are right now. So instead of growing up and up and up and up and up, it's as if, okay, I'm here, how can I expand sideways? So perhaps this is the message. So yes, so for you, the next step is really looking at all of these things that maybe you have put in the shadow. You really try to sweep under the rug and then reclaim these parts of yourself and reconnect with yourself. So yes, that's the next step in your spiritual journey. So yes, I wish you all the best on your spiritual journey, and if you like this reading, feel free to subscribe, like this video, check our other videos, and yes, I hope you'll have a lovely day, and I will see you next time. Bye. Hello group 3, if you chose this ring, this is your reading. I don't know if you can see it, I don't know if it will focus, but yes, and actually this is not my ring, so I'm really curious what sort of energy will come through with it. So let's see what is next step in your spiritual journey. Alright, so I will start with the Mystical Dream Tarot. I don't have the books, but it's a really nice deck. And what I've done for the other two groups, just starting with one card and I would take it from there. So yes, let's see what's the next step on your spiritual journey. Okay, but actually now that I'm looking at this ring, there's a heart. I don't know if you can see it. So maybe it is something to do with your heart space, with your heart chakra. So let's see. Group 3. Okay, so we have the Dreamer of Pentacles, and I never know if this is the page or if this is the knight, but I will rather look at it from the point of view of the illustration rather than the actual tarot card. So look at this. This is the card. It's a very interesting image here. Okay, so let's see what is the next step in your spiritual development. So every time when I see this card, it makes me think of a keyhole, something that is hidden, something that is beyond some sort of wall or something that has been hidden, and then you need a specific key in order to unlock it. And with that background, makes me think of flames. Here, see? It's as if flames. Maybe you have been locking up your passion, your inner fire. Maybe you've tried to keep it contained. And the next step in the spiritual development is to unlock it. So if we look at it in terms of the 4 elements, and I know this is Pentacles, it's earth element, but somehow I'm getting fire in this context. So we have earth, which is our material reality, our body, everything that we can, well, do, everything that we can connect with through our 5 senses. We have air, which is our intellect, how we think, how we communicate. Then we have water, which is about our emotions, feelings, the subconscious. And then we have fire, which is our life force, our energy, our enthusiasm. So I wonder if up until now, you've been trying to really control that inner fire. You've really tried to somehow limit it. Maybe you were scared of it, that if you feed it too much, it will get out of control and it will burn you, and maybe not only burn you, but burn other people. So it's as, okay, let's keep it locked, because if I access this, this is too much responsibility, this is too much, this is too powerful. So I prefer to just keep it somewhere hidden and not access it. And I feel like it can give you so much, it can really push you forward if you are able to access it. So if I look at this card, what really stands out to me is the crab with the moon here, and then it's pinching at the wolf, I guess. And what it makes me think of is that the crab, it makes me think of the zodiac sign Cancer, and Cancer is actually ruled by the moon, and it is all about our feminine side. It is about nurturing, it's about mothering, it's about having a safe and stable home, somewhere where you can retreat. But perhaps by focusing too much on that safety and stability, you have wounded your more instinctive side, your wild side, something that tells you, okay, let's go and run away into the woods. But the crab is like, no, it's dangerous there, and bad things can happen, and I can't just leave my family, I can't leave my friends, I have to stay here, and I have to make sure that everyone is safe and happy. So maybe you have been locking yourself up in something stable and in something that is comfortable, your comfort zone, but you're not growing, you're not accessing that inner fire, because, well, fire can burn. So I feel like this is the next step. And with this rooster, I guess, chicken, it's about some sort of wake-up call, because that's what you would hear early in the morning. And maybe you have received the call, but you're like, oh no, I'll just stay here, just one more day, 1 more hour in this comfortable state, and just locking in all of that passion and all of that wild side, because maybe you're scared in some way. Let's see, let's get 1 more card about this. What is the wild side? What is that fire? What is it? I want some more information about it. Okay. Well, the High Priestess fell out, so I'll take that. So the High Priestess, it's all about our intuition. It's all about hidden things, hidden secrets. And we have the keyhole. Okay, I see it. I see it now. So perhaps you have a very spiritual side, so you have that intuition, but to follow it would mean to leave behind stability, to leave behind that safe space. And High Priestess, it makes me think of the myth of Persephone, where she was taken underground by Hades or Pluto, and this is in the underworld. She became the queen of the underworld, and then when she came back to the surface, she was transformed, she was changed. So there's that very deep, very dark aspect of the feminine. So perhaps it's here that the maternal side of Cancer, that maternal side of femininity, has taken over the more instinctual side of femininity, something that can be dark. So a mother that gives birth but also takes, no, a mother that gives life but takes it away as well. So it's a much more complex energy. So rather than just being, oh yeah, you know, I'm taking care of everyone and I'm just making sure everyone is safe, it's a very flat dimension of femininity. So here with the High Priestess, it's connecting to something like that inner fire within you, that intuition that maybe other people will not like, but it's just as valid. It's just as important. And it's that cycle of birth, growing up, and dying. Because the moon, it makes me think of the moon. So we have the new moon, and then, so it's starting with the new moon. So seeds are sown, and then they are growing. Eventually you get to a full moon, where something comes to full light. But then from full moon, the light keeps decreasing. So it's connecting to that side of life as well, that things cannot constantly grow, things cannot constantly be born. They have to die as well. So I feel like coming to terms with that side of life, I feel like this is the next part in your spiritual journey, really connecting to it, to both the light aspects of the feminine, but also the dark, and learning how to balance them and when to connect to them when necessary. Anything else here? How to do it? How to do it? Let's see. Practical advice for group 3. How to connect, or how to balance these two energies. Seven of Swords. Well, and look what do we have? The whole lunar cycle. So that's about it. But what I'm being shown here is the cup. So to me it's water, but then we also have the sword, which is air. So, and actually water and air are two opposing elements in astrology, because we have emotions, emotions that are just flowing and you can't control them, you cannot apply any formula to them. But then you have the sword, we have air, logic, reason. So connecting these two energies. So wait, this was advice. So it's about, recognizing the cycle of things, that you have new moon, you have full moon, and in between things are being born and things are dying. There's nothing else we can do about it. And with the Seven of Swords, I feel like sometimes we might try to sneak away from it. We might try to pretend that we can be in the full moon phase forever, but we can't. We have to give. We have to receive. We have to give. We have to accept, and we have to let go. So that sort of flow of energy, the cyclical nature of being. To me, this is a very feminine energy. Anything else here? And understanding that as humans we are in the middle of it, that we can't escape. Unless we would, I don't know, go to another planet, but then we would be under some new cycle. So understanding that as humans we are connected to the cycles and there's no way of sneaking out. So, yeah. Or there's no way of looking it up, because eventually it will all come out anyway. And it makes me think of whatever you are trying to look up. The more things you would put into that, makes me think of, what's the word? Some sort of basement. You have some basement, and the more you try to shove things down there, it's eventually they will come up to the surface anyway. So it's connecting to this maybe dark feminine energy and letting things die, letting things decay, and making space for new things. So yes. Anything else here? No, I think this is it. It's quite a straightforward message. But not allowing this very comfortable maternal energy to suffocate yourself and others. Because to me it's almost like a mother who says like, no, don't go out, it's dangerous out there, somebody can kidnap you. That's what my grandma is always saying. Don't go out there, they can kidnap you, you can lose your money, I don't know, something will fall on your head, just stay at home, because only at home it's safe. And it's that emotional manipulation. So free yourself from this need to constantly nurture other people and constantly take care of them, because maybe once you take care of them, it makes you feel better about yourself. So I think there's something to look into in that area as well. But yes, and realize that letting go is just as important as taking care of people. And sometimes we have to release others so then they can go on their own path. So there's an element of possessiveness, I feel like, here. And maybe living through other people, and once we see how they could be free and how they could go about their life, we're like, oh no, I have to take care of them. Because I know in me I have this fire that can be destructive, so I just don't want other people to be burned by their own fire. Maybe something like that. But yes, for the other groups I had looked at a sentence from the Observer's Book of Trees. It's a random book I had on the table. So let's see. Okay, so I've closed my eyes and I'll just turn it around a few times and let's see, just a random sentence. Okay, I'm feeling something here and here. Well, it's an image, but it's the beach. I really hope I'm not pronouncing it the wrong way, but it's a tree. Okay, so we see, okay, I see this. So, to the beech, the title of Mother of Forests has been given, and the grower of timber freely acknowledges his heavy indebtedness to this nursing mother. Oh my god, this is exactly what I've been talking about. For in the words of Professor Geyer, the Bavarian forestry expert, without beech then there can no more be properly tended forest of broad-leaved genera, as along with it would have to be given up many other valuable timber trees, whose production is only possible with the aid of beech. So seriously, it's like that mother figure that is nurturing, but it can limit as well. So still connecting to that mother energy, but connecting to the darker side as well. So having it more balanced, a bit more nuanced, a bit more complex. So yes, oh, that book of trees, oh, that was pretty cool. Okay, so I feel like this is the reading for you. So the next step in your spiritual development, connecting to the darker aspects of the feminine energy. That can be quite destructive as well, and being okay with it, because we are all in a cycle, and you have to give life and things have to die as well. So being fine with that. So yes, this is your reading group 3. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please feel free to subscribe, check out our other videos, and yes, I will see you next time. Bye! Hello group 4, if you chose this ring, this is your reading. So we are looking at what is the next step in your spiritual development. So we've had very interesting messages in the previous 3 groups, so I'm sure you will also get really interesting messages. So let's see, for all the other groups, I've done readings with the Mystical Dream Tarot, and this is it. I don't have the box, but you can look it up online. It's a great deck. So let's see what is the next step in your spiritual development. I will start with 1 card and then I'll just take it from there. So group 4, what is the next step in your spiritual development? Gosh, and I don't know why, when I shuffle the cards, like I would hit myself here with the cards, and I feel like there's some nerve going there. Oh, once I've actually cut my finger. I was bleeding and I was like, why are my cards so weird? Like, why are they colored so weirdly? And it was my blood, so it's just a quick story. So let's see, group 4. the next step in your spiritual development. This. Okay, let's see, what is it? The Lovers. Okay, so this card, I really hope YouTube won't block me for this. Wait, let's censor it a bit. Okay, there we go. I think you can see what is going on in here. I knew this card would eventually show up, so yeah, I hope it won't pick it up from far away. Alright, so we have the Lovers. Number 6, the Lovers. So, in this deck, well, you can see what's going on. But in particular, I remember reading the booklet, and it was talking about the fire triangle. So each element would have a different triangle, and a triangle facing upwards is fire. So yes, but to me, the card of the Lovers makes me think of a choice. Traditionally, it was called the choice, where you have two different options and you have to choose. It is also connected to the energy of Gemini. I don't know if I agree with it personally, but, well, maybe it's useful for you in some way. But, yes, what is the next step in your personal development? I feel like encountering another person, it makes me think of the 7th house in astrology, the descendant. So the bottom part of the chart is when you have personal development, when you go through all of these different phases of developing your individuality, who you are, your identity, and then as soon as we cross the descendant, we move into the 7th house, connections with other people. So this is almost like a test, how your identity that you have developed so far is going to come into contact with another person, because I feel like sometimes we have all of these great things in our mind, we have all of these values, but then once we encounter another person, these views are tested. And it's not just your energy, but there's the energy of another person, and it's about how to compromise. Should you compromise, or should you fight for yourself, or how do you even work together? Because you don't want to compromise too much, you don't want to let the other person always be in charge, but then you don't want to be too assertive. So in this context, I feel like learning how to work with other people. And on a spiritual sense, it's as if having other people as a mirror, in a sense, because then we realize, oh, I relate to people in a different way, and do I like that? Do I not like that? And maybe I am selfish sometimes, so maybe this is something I should work on. So it's coming in contact with, not even relationship-wise, but it always makes me think of the 7th house, where self encounters the other, whatever the other is. So to me, this is the energy of this card. So we have developed a lot already by yourself, but now how do these values, how does this development will react when you encounter another person? So let's say you've been doing all this spiritual development and you share it with somebody else, and you have certain ideas, and the other person says, what? This is so stupid. Like, what are you even doing? What are you spending your time on? So will you fight? And will you say, oh, well, no, you're stupid, I've been through all these things? Or will you say, oh, no, yeah, this is stupid, I'm not going to continue? Or how will you, what's the word? Okay, I've lost the word. But it's as if, it's that line, like a piece of rope, and one person is pulling this way, the other person is pulling the other way, and trying to find some sort of compromise. So that's the sort of energy I'm getting here for now. And with that full moon at the top, it's as if now finally something is fully visible. So now you can finally see all of the elements, and then it's like all of the puzzles are there, and now it's about trying to find a way to somehow put them together. So it might take some patience, it might take some time and rearranging, but I feel like this process will tell you a lot about who you are and how do you interact with other energies. Anything else I have here? Well, the roses here, well, every rose has its thorns. I don't know if that's the proper expression in English, but it makes me think of the saying in Polish that there's no rose without thorns. So there can be some difficulties here along the way, thinking, oh, I'm so much better off myself. Wait, yes, I'm better off myself, so I don't need you. I don't need to talk to other people. I don't need others. I'll just be here by myself. So there could be some difficulties. There could be times when you feel that you are grabbing the rose and all you get is it's the thorns, but at the end of it you have the rose. And because they are white, they make me think of purity. They make me think of almost starting something new. It's a new field of discovery. When you are in contact with other people, it can really teach you a lot. So let's see, any more cards? Yeah, this deck has quite a lot of naked people in it, so I hope YouTube won't mind. Let's see. But again, it is about being yourself, being your true self when you encounter another person. It's not about having a mask or some sort of persona and pretending to be somebody you're not. It's more about, okay, this is me, and well, I want to see you as you are, and I don't want any, I don't know, like any games or any sort of pretending that, oh, you're this person, I'm that person, but in reality we're not. So just really standing there in front of the other person, and it can be very vulnerable. I feel like there's a lot of vulnerability here, because the other person, it's very easy to hurt somebody in such a vulnerable state, but only then when you really show yourself truly to another person. I feel like if you encounter a person who resonates with you, even if you show who you truly are, then there can be such a deep, meaningful connection resulting from that. So maybe it is about showing yourself and your vulnerabilities to another person, and really crossing that fear of exposing yourself. Yeah, let's see. Anything else with this deck for group 4? Okay, well, 3 of Pentacles just jumped out. So let me show you this one. And here, in contrary to all these naked people, we have Mary on the tree. Oh, this deck sometimes is just so fun, and all of these symbolism. So I feel like if there are challenging aspects and challenging times, reaching out for help and asking something higher than you to guide you. But again, with this tree, it makes me think of, well, Adam and Eve, and there was, I don't know the proper words in English for this, but there was the tree and there was that fruit of whatever it was, and you were not supposed to take it, but Eve took it, and then everything went bad from that point on. So here, look at all these fruits here. So there's a lot that you can reach out for. There's a lot of things that you can learn, and 3 of Pentacles makes me think of teamwork, working together on something. And now again, I'm just getting all these biblical images. It's is it called the Holy Trinity? The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So it's almost like this. There's something else here. There's a third element, and I feel like it is the Spirit. So even if it's you and another person, there's still the Spirit present, and then learning how to navigate that. Anything else I'm getting here? And I feel like now you will be able to really reap the fruit, reap the rewards of whatever you've been working on right now. So it's thanks to the other person that maybe you are guided to this place with the trees and all these fruit. And it is, okay, it's also about sharing the fruits, sharing the wisdom with another person, because, maybe you can't eat all of this. Maybe you can, but it's so much nicer, it's so much more satisfying when you share it with another person and you share your own energies, you share your own stories and experiences, and this is how you can grow even further. And with this card, with Mary, it makes me think of the divine feminine energy and how sometimes it is being hidden, how it's being written out of, well, the society, the world. Makes me think of Mary Magdalene and how, Bible could be rewritten so it was all, Jesus and his male disciples, but Mary Magdalene was also present in there. So it's as if reconnecting to something that has been lost, something that has been edited out of the official records. And in this way, you can see the whole story. It is much more, I don't want to say true, but there's much more balance to it. Yeah, that's interesting. So perhaps when another person comes in or another energy comes in, that energy will highlight maybe what has been omitted. And then you will be able to see, oh, okay, there was a different version here, or there's a different version of me. And I've been trying to make sure that I write it nicely and I just throw out all the other parts. But something about true version, something that has not been edited out. That's the sort of energy I'm getting here. So maybe discovering that on your spiritual journey thanks to another person. Anything else? Anything else for group 4? Okay, no, that's too many. Okay, just one. Just one card, please. Let's see. Group 4, anything else? Next step in your spiritual journey? Oh, okay, now it also makes me think of abundance, but you have to reach out in order to get it. So it's, well, eventually the fruit will fall down once they are ready, but an energy of abundance. Okay, anything else for group 4 to close off the reading? The onion. I just love this card. So it's the 4 of Pentacles. So we have 3 and we have 4. So yes, 4 of Pentacles with the onions. There are lots of layers here. And there are lots of layers to peel off. And sometimes it will make you cry. Maybe once you're getting to know the other person, you feel like, okay, I know what is the essence, I know what I'm dealing with and who I'm dealing with, but there's always another layer, there's always something underneath. And, well, continuing with the onion, the first layers are usually quite flaky, quite dry, but then they get much more, well, they're not as dry, there's much more substance to them. So yeah, but they can make you cry. So the more you get to know somebody, things get revealed that maybe are upsetting, things that are challenging, but this is how you grow, this is how you develop yourself. And again, it's just like the rose with the thorns. There's always something that can be upsetting and that can hurt us, but it's how do we deal with it. And onion, I mean, if you bury it in the ground, eventually you will have, spring onion? So I do see it as some sort of potential that even the things about us that are not the nicest with the onion, like with the smell and stuff, we can still get something positive out of it. We can still get something that we can use to our advantage. So yeah, anything else? I mean, traditionally for of Pentacles, it's about holding on to things, really kind of holding something so strong that we do not let go. But in this context, I would say letting go of this vision of yourself and opening up to the other person, even if it feels scary and even if it feels very vulnerable. So perhaps this person is going to show you, in terms of spirituality, that we are not as different as we think. We are still humans, and we all have our own ways of dealing with things, but at the end of the day, we need similar things. We all need, acceptance, we all need safety, we all need love, we need all of these things. So, kind of unity with another person, unity with the universe, recognizing that, even if at times it is challenging. Anything else? No, I feel like this is it. I'll take the book of the trees. So the other groups had a message from the book. I will just close my eyes now and I will randomly pick a page and a sentence. So let's see, maybe a tree has a message for you. Maybe you want to look into the symbolism of the tree a bit more. Okay, I'm feeling something here and here. Okay. The meddler. I have no idea what that is. Looks nice, a nice illustration. And I pointed here. Okay, so what does it say? The theory is that the tree was introduced at some date prior to 1596, when we have records of its being in cultivation here, and that the medlar trees growing in the hedges of South and Middle England are from seeds of these cultivated trees, which have been sown by birds, or more probably mammals who have eaten the fruit. So what it makes me think of, it's this cycle and how we are connected to one another. So, you know, birds eating some seeds, fruit, fruit and seeds, and then they would migrate, and then they would drop the seeds somewhere else, and then that's how the tree grows, and then another bird eats something from that tree or a marble, and then they also move around, and how that it is being expanded. So we are dependent on one another. We are much more interconnected than we think. And I feel like this is it with this group, realizing that at the end of the day, like, no man is an island. That's what comes to my mind. But we are all interconnected, whether it is in interpersonal connections, whether it is with the universe, whether it is with something higher. And it does take vulnerability to open yourself up and to really open yourself to another person, to another energy, but it can be very fruitful, it can be very abundant at the end of the day. And also it creates a sense of connection, a sense of unity, a sense of coming together. So yes, I feel like this is it for group number 4. If you have enjoyed this reading, feel free to subscribe, like the video, check our other videos. We post tarot readings every Sunday. And yes, I hope you enjoyed the reading, and I hope you will have a nice day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!